Hey, Dutch, how you doing, man?
Not too bad, not too bad. How you doing?
I'm all right, sitting here in sunny Florida along with you. I think you're a little north of me from where we're at. And
Yep,
looks like circumstances couldn't put us together today, but we'd just be in some noisy bar anyway on a Sunday. So,
exactly. And who wants to sit around a bar and do nothing,
oh, it's terrible. I know. Look at all the hot women, running
What
around
a terrible life. Yes,
nearly
I'd much
naked.
rather stay home.
Well, it's interesting, man. We'll get to how old you are here in a sec, because I noticed you have an AOL email address. Who the fuck
I'm
has an
old.
A? Who the fuck has an AOL email address still at this day and age? So I think I'm older than you, though. Honestly,
I'm old, believe me.
I
Get off
just
my lawn.
yeah, I just turned 60, so
I'm on my way. I'm
yeah,
58.
yeah. Well, don't get there in a hurry. Let me tell you.
No, I'm in no hurry.
So we've had a couple hurricanes down here. One of them was a 500-year storm. I mean, just devastated. I don't know if you've been down that way. Just devastated Fort
No.
Myers, Charlotte County, Port Charlotte, Northport. I've been down and I've seen it. And now Daytona Beach, crumbling. Like Daytona Beach is gone,
I'd
just
heard.
gone. I've seen pictures of it. I mean, New Smyrna Beach, all the way down to Titusville, I guess, has just been compromised at this point in time. And so I got to ask you this question because inquiring minds want to know. Did you ever or have you ever kept up with the Kardashians?
I, I curse OJ Simpson because without him, we would not know who the Kardashians are today.
Ain't that the fucking truth, man?
Yep,
Jesus, right? I mean, yeah, OJ turned his ex-wife there into a Pez dispenser.
yep.
Yeah, yeah, I remember all that foolishness. My God, a low speed chase that was quite interesting there in the white blazer.
It all depends on who you are because anybody else getting chased would have got the pit move and flipped that thing.
Oh my God, it was just so crazy on so many levels. And then of course we witnessed one of the largest jury nullifications in the history of
Absolutely.
American jurisprudence. I mean,
Oh, I think they knew they were going to find him not guilty from day one. It was just everything else was just window dressing.
it was the juice, man.
Yeah.
It
If
was
you
the juice.
don't fit, you can't. Or what was it? If it
If the
doesn't fit,
glove
you
don't
must have
fit,
quit.
you must have quit. Yeah. Meanwhile, that was a leather glove that obviously we know what happens to leather when it sits for a while. It crumbles and shrinks back up
Mm,
again, and it's got to get reworked. But either way, man, I just like to open with the hardball questions, right away.
yeah, that's a tough one to answer. That's
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
sure, sure. Dirty usually answers that. Asks those questions rather. Uh, Brother Dirty is not with us today. He has been fighting laryngitis, for lack of a better term. I think he's just fighting his ability to shout, and no, he's got some stuff going on, and it's been a few months now that he's been dealing with it, and right when he thinks he gets his voice back, it disappears back on him again. So
It's another
we've
sign of age. You don't just get sick for 24 hours anymore. Everything just
and
lingers.
no shit. We've been hemming and hawing on this. We did episode 119. This is episode 120, by the way. So
All right.
we've been at this a minute now, and we've been hemming and hawing. I mean, we were doing this hot and heavy, man. Every Monday we were coming out with one a week. We were getting content out there. We were starting to get postured up in the algorithm. And then life happened, man. I mean, the shit comes at you and hits you right in the face. And so we've been tapering off and kind of easing up. And I mean, we ain't getting paid for this shit. So I don't know who'd fucking pay for it anyway. But
Well,
here we are back again. Go ahead, man.
no, I was just saying we're glad to have you back then.
Yeah, yeah, it's good to be back down. I mean, I'm sure I'll see you here at the WCFR functions.
Oh yeah, I'll be around.
For everybody else out there, WCFR is West Coast Florida Riders, which is quite an animal, wouldn't you say?
It is amazing how it took off. I give Lee Hagood a lot of credit. I know he was one of the original founders, but he's really managed to have an atmosphere of laid back and relaxation without allowing a lot of drama involved. Because I mean, I think they're up to like 7,000 people, and they're
Yeah,
good at cutting people off quick who want to start turning that forum into a me show and want to argue every little thing. And
yeah,
they got some rules, and yet they don't have any rules.
yeah. He mitigates the thirst trap. How's that?
That was a lot easier than what I just said. Yes.
Yeah, he really does. You know, I've been they started up right about the time that I moved down here.
I think, yeah, and it wasn't, I don't think that either one of them planned on it ever getting this big. It's just astounding.
No. They originally started out, it was I think they were up in their area, Parish, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they called themselves, I think, the 941 Riders or something like that for the area code.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And you know, it was this thing, and I was following them on Facebook, you know, because I like to get, you know, biker groups and see what the pulse of the community is doing. And you know, I was like, who are these guys? Like they're coming across like this motorcycle club type family, but they're not this club. I mean, if you look at past episodes, I even talk about them. I talk shit about them. You know, I told Lee and Kurt that too. You know, I said, look it up, man. I talk shit about you guys. You know, because me, you know, being in a club, you were formerly in a club. I mean, we worked hard. We work hard for that shit.
Absolutely.
And we take pride in it. But I gotta tell you, man, what they're doing is kind of real organic, and they're really taking off, and they've got sort of a real big community feel, like a riding association type thing.
Yeah.
And they're really, really tight, and they do shit every week and every weekend.
Yeah.
In fact, it was through them that I first met you, and the first part of you that I saw, I think, was your tit.
These right here.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. We don't need to see your chichi boobs, man. Yeah, that was over at Peggy's Corral.
Love Peggy's Corral.
I do too. It's got a real cool vibe to it, man. And it was colder and fuck that day by Florida standards.
And the wind was just a whip. Oh, you mean when we met? Yeah, it was cold that time.
It was.
I had a long sleeve shirt on, which I never wear.
Yeah, and you know, it was kind of cool. Like I've got footage. I can't use it on YouTube because they don't like bare titties. Women's bare titties, I should say. But some of your members were like shoving their boobs up my face, and I was like, I kind of like these people. I dig them, you know.
Yeah, they're very, they're like, they got the old school feel, but they realize they don't have that. They don't have the cube. They don't have the MC, and they're very, very adamant about that. They are not a motorcycle club. They are just. They don't even like to use the word club. They just say they're just a bunch of people who like to ride, get together, and they're a family unit. I give them credit for that.
And you're like their guru.
Yeah. I'm the only one who can play Santa Claus every year at the orphanage. I'm the only one who fits the uniform.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. When I was a prospect, they had me play Santa Claus, and I didn't need any padding for some odd reason. You know?
No, me either. That's why I think they pick me every year.
Yeah, probably. But you know, I saw some pictures of you when you're younger. You weren't always me neither. You know, I used to.
I used to be a devilishly handsome guy. That's just, I mean, now look at me. I mean, I don't wear these because they make me look cool. I wear these because I have sad, tired old eyes, so I try to cover them up.
Well, that was our text exchange yesterday, if I remember. We set this up, and I'm like, "Hey, man, let's do it tomorrow." And you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to get my pretty face ready to go." And I'm like,
that's right.
I'm like, who the fuck ever told you were pretty? Like, it must have been a blind man.
lots of women told me I'm pretty years and years and years and years ago.
Yeah, and then there was this Jesus in prison, but we don't want to talk about that. You know? So God, you just released another book.
I did. I made it about a female motorcycle club, which is a couple of people have not been thrilled with the whole concept, but I don't really pay that. No, never mind. I was early on. I always thought women in the motorcycle world, they can be on the back or they can be on the front. I don't see anything wrong with either one. I think for years Harley-Davidson marketed to half the population. I think they woke up one day and said, you know something? We got a whole other half of the world who might want to ride motorcycles.
True.
And as far as I'm concerned, I think they're sexy as hell when they throw their leg over that seat. I really do. You know, as far as the clubs go, I think the fact that they're new, they got to earn their way just like everybody else. If it was a male club that just started, you're not going to get the same respect of another male club that has been there for 30 years, nor should you.
Right. But there's been a couple that have been around for a little bit. I mean, one of the oldest clubs in the country is the Motormates.
Yeah, they started in Canada. They were very ladylike. They wore their little white gloves and all that, but they were very avant-garde at that point in time. That was a no-no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now this is book number 4
Yes, it is.
in your series.
I got it right here. And
Oh,
all the women on the cover are from West Coast Florida riders. I did
yeah.
usually have a contest of sorts of who wants to be on the cover, but this time I just picked 5 because I don't know how to say this delicately, but trying to have 5 women compete for a spot, I don't think would have gone over very well. This already caused a couple of problems with a couple of females wrote to me, calling me everything under the sun, telling me what a piece of garbage I am, and how dare you pick these 5, and you should have picked me, and it was just bizarre.
I can't see how you wouldn't have picked Lee's wife. I mean, she's smoking hot and she's a nice lady,
Absolutely,
and
and
she'd probably kick all our asses.
she's very soft spoken, but there is a thunderous volcano under that, I'm sure.
I sense that.
Yeah.
I sense that. The first time I met, well, the first time I saw her was on a podcast we did, and Lee was in his garage, and she came in with like a pizza in her hand and her kid, and he's like, "Hey, I'm doing a podcast." She's like, "Mm-hmm," and then did the old wife, "Mm-hmm," and walked in the door. And then when I met her over at Caddy's, and boy, she just like looked me up one eye and down the other and dismissed me, and off she went. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Mental note.
She's from Mississippi originally, so she's a real strong Southern gal.
Yeah, when she was, and she's a good one for the cover too. So you've
She
been
is,
getting
and she fit. There's a character named Peaches in the book, and that's kind of who I envisioned. She just was perfect.
right on. I mean, and now the setting of this book is out on the coast.
Yes, right in Holmes Beach. I did not give these women a bottom rocker of Florida. I gave them a Holmes Beach bottom rocker. I just something about giving them the whole state of Florida. I just wasn't willing to do. And they're mentioned actually. Each book mentions the next book in it. And in the third book, Black River, where Lee's on the cover, they do mention these gals because they were going to show up for a drag race or something. But and he also noticed this is the only cover where there's no diamond on it too.
Mm.
Yeah, I just didn't want to go that route either. I just
Bring the cover back up.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see something on there.
Sure.
What was the okay? It's gotcha. Okay,
Yeah, there's Lee's wife.
No, I know, I knew that. Right above her head,
Oh.
though, it's like an eagle. I'm like, or is that a whale's tail?
Oh, that's Peggy's sign. Peggy's corral sign.
Peggy's sign kind of looks from here, from me looking at the computer screen, looks like a
Yeah,
whale.
it's the eagle wings on Peggy's.
Eagle wings, but it looks like a whale's tail, like the what a thong does when you're looking at the ass of a fine old lady. You see her thong underwear peeking up, Yeah.
We were originally going to do the cover. Well, we did do the cover in front of Peggy's, but when the graphic designer got a hold of it, he just said, I can't make this work in front of the bar. It's just not working. So he made up that background, which I thought was perfect. You could see I like the bright color for one thing. That's eye catching.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you can see it up here, but there's the image of a raven there of their center patch.
Nice.
And when he got it done, I said, I promised Ma, and for those of you who don't know who Ma is, that Deb, she owns Peggy's. And I said, I promised her that we were going to give her some exposure on this. So he fit that sign in there. I thought he did a good job with that.
Definitely. I mean, if you're in the area, people, Bradenton, it's actually Palmetto, right off of US 41. And it's a hell of a place, man. It's a must biker destination. That's for
absolutely
sure.
It's got the authentic feel to it because it is authentic.
Oh yeah, and then you got the airport, out there. Everybody calls the airport where they smoke pot by the, out the picnic tables. But now, I mean, I read your first book, and thank you very much. You gave that to me. When actually at Peggy's, we did a little interview and talked and shot the shit out there. You've got a unique writing style.
Thank you.
And it's kind of cool because you kind of intersperse, like you've got the story, and then you put in, like, interject your own life experiences to kind of like tie in and solidify the point you're trying to make, or what you're trying to exemplify within the story itself. And so
somebody put in good words. They said it's like your life in fiction.
Yeah, and you're kind of intertwining the two.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's an easy read. It's not busy. It's not like you're going to sit there and you have to read a page over again. The books like what the fuck did I just read?
Oh yeah, I've read lots of those. Believe me, we're 5 minutes into it. I'm thinking I'm still on the first page. I can't get anywhere with it.
Now, any of these been released onto Kindle or anything like that?
They're all on the Kindle except for the one you got, and I'm still struggling with the publisher to get that on a Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know why. I'm not getting really good straight answers. They said because originally when you published it, we didn't make one, so it's hard to go back and
Bullshit.
bullshit is right. I mean,
In
I don't
this
know
day and
how
age,
that can be.
Jesus Christ, they got computers can read your mind, for crying out loud.
I know. I don't buy that either. I think it's just
Yeah.
I'm getting like 20 different people who are just putting it off to the next person.
You know what they're telling you is to sell more copies. That's their way of saying that.
That's where they make more money anyway.
Yeah, we need to make more fucking Benjamins off you, man. So come back and see us then.
I think books are coming back anyway. I think people who stare at a screen all day long don't really want to sit home at bed and read off another screen. I think books are making a comeback.
Well, the people that read.
The people that read. That unfortunately is dwindling down a lot.
Too many people, you know, once we went to, I mean, Twitter fucked it up for all of us, man.
Yeah.
You know, once we went to 144 characters and then suddenly that became too much. You know, they lived in the blogosphere and now everybody, and I mean, it's all clickbait now, right? I mean,
it is.
Even on the, you know, the news, the media, the advertising, you know, it's like some big preposterous headline to get you soaked in, and then you start to read the article and like, that's not what the headline said at all.
Everybody in the world is dead. Click here and find out how.
Yeah, I know, right? But you know, but the problem is that people now just read the headlines, and that becomes the news.
Yeah,
and so
we got some lazy people out there.
Yeah, we're definitely got a lot of mouth breathers out there. That's for sure. But that's okay. I mean, you know, I'm a big reader, voracious reader, and so you know, it's nice to see. I think you know, like I said, it's making a resurgence. I think so. To a certain degree. So let's hope if you happen to see his books out there, Lee, go ahead and make your shameless plug right now. I mean, Lee, Dutch, go ahead and make your shameless plug for your whole books there.
Well, for starters, I didn't know I didn't give you the other ones. I meant to give those to you.
I just got the one. I'd like to read them. Hell, well,
shame on me then. I'll have to get in contact with Bubbles and see what happened. That's my assistant.
Well, we live about 20 minutes away from each other, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I'll just throw them across the river.
Yeah, right across the Manatee. Yeah, it's not too wide.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize that because I'm really interested to see your take on the rest of them.
Yeah, I'd like to read them actually. Like I said, I like to read, and it would be interesting to do so. So you were in the club scene.
Yep.
For a couple decades.
Yep.
Up in the Rochester, New York area, if I remember.
Right, Finger Lakes area, around that area in Rochester, and all that good stuff. I've had a motorcycle since I was 9 years old. I always like to say it's the only love affair I've ever had that's worked.
Yeah,
it's been a constant.
Yeah. So what do you own right now?
Right now, I own a 2009 Softail Custom.
Yep.
Fits perfect on my fat old body and my back. I love that bike.
And your short legs.
My short legs. And then I got a Sportster, 2004 Sportster that's painted like Fred Flintstone. I'll never give that bike up. That's actually the bike I got wiped out in back in 2006. Some idiot text messaging. The text messaging was new. She was apparently text messaging and not paying attention and literally ran me over on the interstate. And spent all my money on just getting that bike fixed again. Everybody said I was crazy. I was like, just get a new bike. No, that's just not what you do. You don't just give up on your bike. Your bike doesn't give up on you.
That's right.
And then I got an old 1975 shovelhead that sometimes makes me want to give up on her.
That's why they call him a troublehead. Oh
my God, it's just amazing. It just when it starts, I like cheer because it started. And it's an old hardtail. So I openly admit it's a show-off bike. It really is. I can't ride it long distance anymore. There's just no way. I hit a pebble on the road and it like sends a shockwave throughout my body.
Well,
I do love that bike. It's an eye catcher.
We're both of similar age, a couple of years apart here. And when we were younger, like in high school, I mean, that was the big joke, right? I mean, with the Harley, well, I'll go for a ride if the Harley will start.
Exactly.
Because they were very temperamental. I had a buddy, he ended up dying. He died on the bike, but he God, he would go out there and kick that goddamn thing and kick it and kick it and kick it and kick it. And he'd spend 20 minutes on that thing when it's about launching him over the friggin' pegs, and he'd come in all pissed off, and smoke a joint, or something, and then go back out there half hour later, kick that once, boom, and it would fire right over. I tell you what, I mean,
they got a mind of their own.
Yeah, they do. And the shovel was cool, and then Harley had to do something, so they came up with the Evo. They got rid of AMF, and they kind of took the shovel and improved on it. What do you think of the Evo motor?
I love the Evo motor. I know that people like to call it a lot of different things, like the evil motor, this and that. And I think they're the ones that kind of harken back to the old shovelhead days. And this, it's like somebody replaced your favorite TV show, and you're just never going to warm up to it. I think the Evo was a great motor. I still do. I think it's one of the better ones that they made.
I think it's one of the best ones that they made. They kind of improved on the shovelhead, and they kind of took some old principles off a knucklehead and put it into play. They call them a blockhead motor.
Yeah.
So you got the shovelhead and then the blockhead, and then we got the twin cam, and they call it a Twinkie for some reason. So, but
now they got the Milwaukee 8, which I don't know what nickname you'd give that other than maybe the lumphead. Got the little bumps on it.
Yeah, I think that throttle by wire thing is probably going to go the way of the dinosaur. It seems pretty cool, but it's an all or nothing type of a throttle. There is no ease into it, like you would with a cable throttle. And when you're pushing 131 cubic inch motor, and you got.
I'm just amazed at the size of the motors. I remember when 1200 was a giant motor.
No shit, right?
1200, holy cow! Now it's a midget motor, according to some people.
Yeah. Well, are you familiar with Keanu Reeves? Obviously.
Yeah.
And have you heard of his motorcycle company?
No, I haven't.
He and a guy named a builder from, I think, California area by the name of Gard Hollinger came up with Arch motorcycles, ARCH motorcycles. And one of Keanu's biggest, his favorite motorcycles is a Kawasaki KZ1000. So he likes speed, and he likes that old pre-sport bike type platform.
Yeah.
And let's face it, they were a lot of fun, not a lot of bells and whistles, but that old, your feet directly underneath you, sucking your knees, you're a little more forward.
I don't want to do push-ups while I'm riding. Though.
Yeah, well, I hear you, and I'm too fat to lay over a tank. But excuse me. But no, they came up with Arch motorcycles, and they've been building these bikes that they fit to the customer. And they came out with their newest bike, and it's got it's a 124 cubic inch SNS V twin that's pushing out 116 pounds of torque on this thing. God. And it's a 500-pound motorcycle frame. They're doing some pretty cool things. It's almost like a sport bike with a V-twin attitude, and they actually have a single-sided swing arm, aluminum swing arm.
Oh so my God!
It's not a dual side; it's a single side, and then they've paired up the fuel system with the air intake system, and so the air intake actually runs down the side of the tank, and so it simultaneously will keep the tank cool with the air, keeping the gas and the temperature down on the fuel pump. And they're just amazing motorcycles. If you look into them, they're just crazy. Obviously, unless maybe if you sell more books, you'll be able to afford one, but I couldn't. They started about $70,000 a bike.
Oh, there we go. And that's why I haven't heard of them.
Yeah. but look into them. I was just reading about them. I was pretty amazed, pretty amazed at what they can do. But what's, if you had unlimited money resource, what would you have for a bike?
I had unlimited money resource. What would I do
for a motorcycle?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I would just expand my collection, I think, but I'd go for more of the old stuff. I'd love to get a Vincent Black Shadow, which are
who wouldn't?
I mean, they're so hard to find as it is, and there's a price tag on any of them. I think if you found one in a basket, it would still be $50,000.
Yeah,
but I certainly want to go back and get the old knucklehead and things like that. But I've always wanted one of those Vincent Black Shadows. They're just beautiful pieces of machinery. They really are.
I always liked the thought that it'd be cool to get a matchless.
Oh yeah.
And it's interesting, matchless. I mean, they were highly sought after bike. A lot of collectors like to get them. The guy on what is that? Antique, not the Antique Roadshow, but the guys that from Iowa that go out and
Oh, I don't know.
everybody know, they'll people know what I'm talking about. They go out and they do they shop and they find places and get the junk finders with that.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Oh, I'm sure you have. If I said the name, which it's fine.
Oh, now I'm starting to think I know what you mean. What was the first one you said that it wasn't?
It was not Antique Roadshow.
I
Either
know
way, somebody will tell us in the comments
probably.
who it was, and of course I'm going to go, yeah, duh. Um, but matchless motorcycles were cool, and how they got their name, matchless, was when they first started making them. They were the first motorcycle that had an incandescent lamp for the headlight, because
Oh my God.
before that they actually had like a candle, like gas torch that you would light.
Sounds like something out of the Flintstones.
No shit. And they so they marketed this bike and they came up with a name, and it was matchless, meaning you didn't have to take a match to it.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, the more you know, right?
There's a little museum in a town called Bath, New York, which is about an hour south of Rochester, called the Curtis Museum.
Yep.
And I don't. Have you heard of it?
I think I have. It's in God damn it. Phone just went off. Sorry.
Yeah. It just it's so massive and so the stuff they have in there is just amazing. I don't know how it's not better known, but they have just about every old motorcycle in there.
Hmm.
It's also a flight museum and all that. But Curtis was one of the original people who made a motorcycle that could go 100 miles an hour in that area.
Wow.
He gets very little credit for being kind of a motorcycle pioneer. But if anybody's up that way, that museum is worth the look. They got everything in there.
Well, have you seen The Last Indian, with the story about Burt Monroe?
Long time ago,
The
yeah.
fastest Indian, rather.
Yeah, the fastest Indian, yeah.
This guy took a 1921 Scout, at that point in time, and made it. I mean, this bike went over 200 miles per hour.
Oh my God! Not with me on it, it won't.
Right, well, on the bonneville salt flats. I mean, American Pickers. That's the American Pickers.
There we go. Now I remember.
Okay. Anyway, getting back. It's a shit show without Dirty. You're just relying on me. Usually I'm in the back grunting and making commentary, but here I am. I got to carry it. So, shit. But yeah. So Curtis, where is that in upstate New York?
It's in Hammondsport, New York. It's in the Finger Lakes area. It's just a little teeny rinky-dink town that, unless you go there intentionally, you'll never come across it.
Over by like Canandaigua and stuff.
It's off Cuca Lake, and Canandaigua would be on the other side. Yeah.
Right on. A lot of Illuminati shit goes on up there, from what I read.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. How about have you ever heard of the American Motorcycle Museum in Anamosa, Iowa?
No.
It's right over. It's actually it's right in the same town. That's where JP Cycles has a big place. But Anamosa, Iowa. It's and they have all sorts of motorcycles over there. They got They have the Steve McQueen bike. His last Indian that he owned. They've got one of the Easy Rider bikes is over there.
Oh, really? Which one? Hoppers or?
No. It's what's his name's their fondest.
Captain America?
Yeah, Captain America. Which oddly enough was made by a builder, a black guy, one of the first big custom builders. People don't realize that. They always think of it as
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a black guy, highly sought after. I can't remember his name off the top of my head because I'm old and my memory's gone. But yeah, I like that old school shit.
Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely. And it's funny going back to the shovel head. It's people who are younger than me, which is not hard to find nowadays. They look at it and they'll talk about how oh, you're so lucky you got the best motor Harley-Davidson ever made, and I think no. You got really one of the worst motors Harley-Davidson ever made, but it's so iconic because it just screams old school. I think people forget that it was a tough motor to own.
They had a very very unique sound to them. I've
Yeah,
got a
my neighbors will tell you about that.
yeah, I got a good friend of mine in Wisconsin, and his newest motorcycle is a 1978 Night Train.
Oh my God, I remember those.
That's
Honda,
his newest one.
1978 Night Train.
A 78 Night Train, yeah.
Did Honda make those?
No, that was a Harley. It's a Harley. It's a shovel head.
Oh, the night. Okay, all
The
right. I'm
Night
thinking of the
Train.
Night Hawk. Believe it or
That
not.
was the Nighthawk. Yeah,
Okay,
Nighthawk. Those were cool. Nighthawk was a good bike. I've ridden on those.
yeah, I remember those.
Buddy had a 550. But yeah, but if you look in his saddlebags, he has got like every unique part and tool needed to fix that bike. I mean, I
Okay.
swear he could probably change out his head gasket on the side of a road. Actually, I think he has.
I've seen that done. The guy I
Yeah.
rode with one time broke down in Syracuse, and I ran and got him the gasket, and he fixed it right there on the highway. Just lift it up.
Well, I mean, you don't have to take the tank off, right? You just
Nope.
gotta loosen it up and
It was interesting to watch. I'd
tilt
never
it
seen
up.
that done before. This is a long time ago, but I was surprised they had it in stock, that gasket, because this was about 20 years ago.
It doesn't surprise me. A lot of the old Harley motors, you can go out to like Napa and find a lot of the gaskets. They were cross applied a lot of the different shit with Chevy motors.
Hmm.
So, but you know, I mean, I own a Victory motorcyclist when I ride in Florida here, and finding parts now because you know Victory doesn't support it anymore because they're not a company, and Polaris has been real sporadic with you know like manufacturing anything new for it. So a lot of times I've got to get unique and kind of you know come up with my own solutions to things instead of trying to wait for a Victory part that's not existent or you know is you know $3 million, you know.
Yeah.
But thankfully they run better. It runs better than a Harley, so I don't have to do a lot to it.
Yeah.
Which is now let's switch up tracks here. You're on social media a lot.
I lost you on that one. I'm sorry. What?
Oh, you're on social media.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the only game in town, actually. I'm not quite sure how else to promote this other than social media is where everybody's at. So that's where you got to be.
Yeah, I mean, you're on TikTok.
No, I haven't got on there yet. TikTok just I haven't.
You know, TikTok. It's probably one of the more popular ones right now.
It exploded out of nowhere. I don't.
It did because it's so simple. You've seen the movie Idiocracy.
Oh, I love that movie.
And
Fantastic.
we're witnessing it play out in real life.
Absolutely we are. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And TikTok is paving the way for that.
Those two guys, now I'm drawing a blank on their name. Oh, common names.
Well, they were the ones who did like King of the Hill and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of their names, but they did oh my God. This whole segment's gonna be about you and I not being able to remember a damn thing.
Oh, probably a good one. Maybe
Team America. Did you ever see that movie?
It was not done by Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
I thought it was.
No. It was the guy actually who did King of the Hill was the one who came up with that.
Oh, Mike Judge.
Mike Judge. Yep.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and I'm a big fan of Matt Stone and Trey Parker. And yes, I have.
Me too.
And yes, I have seen Basketball is one of my favorite movies. I really dig it. It's but it's sophomoric. It's kind of like where I'm at. I'm like, I'm 60 years old. I still enjoy a good fart joke.
Oh, who doesn't?
Right.
You never outgrow that.
No. But we've got social media, Facebook. I mean, I'm sure you see. We've been basically regurgitating probably the same 15 motorcycle memes now for 10 years.
Oh, I know. There's nothing new anymore on it, really.
No, and it's like a brave new world out there in terms of protocol and all that shit for motorcycle clubs, which used to be really, really secretive. But now you see a lot of club guys and younger kids, they rely on social media to tell their story.
Yeah.
And I think we find out a little too much more about club life than people need to know.
I was just going to say those stories used to be kept to yourself or around the bonfire with everybody else. But I was just talking to a brother up there. He put something on Facebook about going to one of the local clubs, and I texted him real quick. I said, "How many clubs are up there now?" Because when I left, I could count on my hands and toes how many clubs were between Rochester and Buffalo. You just said there's a ton of them now. And like you were saying, there used to be a lot more protocol involved, but they just pop up everywhere now. You just got to just one of the trends that I'm not real happy with is people are finding these old defunct clubs and just going and reinventing their patch and buying them and starting back up again. And they think it kind of gets them around the whole, starting from scratch. Oh, this was a legitimate club, 75 years ago. And all of a sudden they got a patch again and they're riding.
Well, do you remember it was pretty viral on the internet, but several years back there was the fake patch guy. And he was that guy that had bought his Hell's Angel patch.
Oh, okay.
And
remember that.
Oh yeah, and it was making a big stink. It went viral. I mean, if you'll find memes on it. You'll find a lot of people talking about it. It's been around and around and around on Facebook many times. That actually happened right in my neck of the woods in Wisconsin.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, we know the guy. I mean, it was remember he showed up at one of the local biker bars, and he had showed a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey man, come over here and see this." And he like opens his truck up, and there's this Hell's Angel vest in there. And this idiot was stupid enough to think that he could buy this vest off of Wish or one of those type of companies and wear it like he was a member in the club. Not only wear it like he was a member of the Hells Angels, but this idiot did it in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's not the place to do it.
No, it is black and white there. I mean, it's black and white nation. Mm-hmm. And I think you see a lot of that now, like just what you were saying. They take an old defunct club. Like I knew another guy, there was a European club that had gone out of fashion. And he had found out about it, and he had actually bought some old patches. This was about 12 years ago, and bought some old patches off somebody on the internet from a European club and put them on a vest and was going to wear them around. And I'm like, what are you, fucking dumb?
It's easier to get away with, though. Unfortunately, it's just I don't want to take too long, but this was a story up in Rochester where I thought this is kind of the key of what the problem is. This young kid came up to one of the guys in Excalibur and did it the right way. Introduced himself and asked how this works, and he'd be interested. And so the guy from Excalibur sat down and told him in no uncertain terms, but this is how it works. It's going to take you hang around time and blah, blah, blah. And the prospect time is about a year, and then we vote on you. And the kid went, "Oh, okay, yeah. Huh. I think I'll just join one of those military clubs." It hit me then. I thought, he was a nice kid even and everything like that, but he's from that. This is the generation that's coming up with, well, I don't want to go to all that trouble and earn it. I'm just going to go, and as long as I got a patch and a bottom rocker and girls will fall on all over me, then that's all he wanted.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to earn it.
I'm kind of out on the tiles on that one, only in this respect. There is a group called the CVMA, the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association.
Yeah, I got it. Yep.
And that's kind of like the case with those guys, but I'm friends with a lot of them. I got a good friend who's a very well-respected member. And I kind of see why that one sort of originated, but I get what you're saying. There's a lot of.
Oh yeah, no, I don't begrudge them at all, but I just mean this kid in general wanted to join a club, but when he found out this avenue was going to be too difficult, he decided to go the other direction. I don't think he cared what club it was.
And you know what? With a guy like that, I wouldn't want him in the club anyway.
No, and I'm glad, and I think that's why the guy from Excalibur was laying it on pretty thick. He wasn't like trying to soften anything up. He was telling them, "This is what you'll be doing, and you'll be for a year. You're gonna be glued to your phone." And
yeah.
Well, when I prospected, we didn't have phones, but
right. Anything worth doing.
I had a flashlight hanging around I remember we were at an event one time, and of course, like you said, there's no cell phones, no nothing. And one of the guys from the Richmond chapter fancied up this flashlight with a necklace, stuck it around my neck. I said, "Keep that on all night so I know where you're at." I couldn't get away all night. They're just looking for the light, looking for the jingling light. There he was.
Yeah, I remember early on in my prospecting, we were hanging out at this bar, and it was right in front of a pheasant farm, a big pheasant farm, and there are
I
flies
don't know why
all
that's funny.
flies all over the place, right? Because we get a million pheasants behind you,
Oh yeah.
so a lot of flies. And we're there at a bike night. It was the start of the night. They're sitting around the outside picnic tables, and so he gives me a fly swatter, and he says, "All right, start killing flies. I don't want these flies anymore." So got me killing flies, right? And so I'm out there killing flies, and the night goes on, and I'm out there killing flies, and the night goes on, and I'm out there killing flies, and the night goes on. And after about 3 hours, he comes out looking for me because a lot of people are inside at this point in time. It's like, "Tank, what are you doing?" And he had forgotten about me. I'm killing flies, man. Like he never gave me something else to do. You know what I mean? Because I guess the overall point I'm trying to make is that, you talked about it, right? You alluded to it. A lot of the younger people, they want the easy way, right?
Mhm.
They want the cheat code to life
They want that respect without
earning it.
earning it.
And, Dirty has talked about it many times on this show. He has talked more people out of joining a motorcycle club than he has into joining a motorcycle club.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that we found from our experience is that if you've got that member that doesn't have his heart in it, and he's kind of getting by doing just the bare minimum, that's what you're going to get out of him as a member.
Exactly. And unfortunately, there's a lot of clubs that are just in need of members, in need of paying bills, and they'll overlook stuff like that.
Yeah.
If they can get that 60, 70 bucks a month dues out of them.
Yeah, but you set that standard, and that's the quality of the standard of member you're
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. It's the wrong standard to set, but there are some that do that.
And
that are all about numbers and paying the bills and all that kind of stuff. It's a shame.
yeah, it is a shame, but it's a reality. And the reality of this is that our style of motorcycle riding, our club culture, our Harley culture, our cruising culture, all of it, this biker lifestyle that we know it is aging out.
Yeah.
We've got more people who are eventually leaving the lifestyle than are entering it. Harley knows this. That's why they market largely to a lot of women riders, and they try to get with the kids. That's why they came up with that Zero, the electric thing, trying to get people involved with that.
Yes.
And ABATE, one of the motorcycle legislation, motorcycle rights organizations, like so many others, and motorcycle clubs in particular, are having a hard time getting new members in, and they get more guys retiring than they're taking in. Like I say, you got to pay the bills. So what do? You got to pay the bills. So you got to have to raise dues or get new members. And, so then they drop the bar, and you get that subpar member in there who's willing to do, like I said, the bare minimum. And then you get this bare minimum member.
And then you get bare minimum members.
Yeah.
And it just feeds itself.
And it's the same thing. I see it in other clubs. I see it. I see it in mine. I see it in volunteer organizations. You always get that core group of guys, that 6 to 10 guys that are in the club that are there at every function, that work hard. You know what I mean? And I see it. I see it. Was that your experience as well? When you were in the world?
Yeah, there's always, yeah. And those are the guys that have been around the longest, and those are the guys who remember what it was like. And I think those are the ones that are gonna. But like you said, they're the ones leaving the club just by Mother Nature's taking them eventually.
Yeah.
And the ones coming in aren't the same. Even when I was a full patch member, the guys that were in the club for 30 years, I would still go get them their meal. I wasn't not like if we had no prospects at the time. It would be, sit down. I'll go grab you a burger, and what else you want with it? Just out of respect for the length of time they've been in here. You don't see that a lot. Oh, I'm a member too. I don't need to kiss anybody's ass anymore. It's not a matter of kissing anybody's ass. It's a matter of respecting the time and the commitment that made the club that you're in what it is.
Yeah, patchitis, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, new patch syndrome.
New patch syndrome.
Oh my God, I hate that.
I do too. You know, I do too. When I got my full patch in one of the greatest days of my life, and I got thrown right into it. Within 5 months, I was an officer in the club.
Oh wow, that's five
And
months.
5 months. I
Holy
remember.
cow!
Well, yeah, because the guy that was it was the secretary position. Nobody wants the secretary position. And I remember, I came out the first month I was the bar manager. I'm running the bar to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
So I remember the guy that was the secretary giving his patch up. So we're there at church, and the president looks over at me, and he's talking to the group, looking at me at the same time. And I want somebody to pick this patch up who's going to do a good job. And I'm like, why the fuck are you looking at me? And he's like, Tank, I want you to be the secretary. And I'm like, well, I can't do both jobs. I'm not going to be the bar manager and the secretary. So,
No.
Somebody else is going to have to be the bar manager, but I'll step up. And now, what's the secretary do for those that not in the club world? We're that poor son of a bitch that keeps track of the history, keeps track of the records.
Mm-hmm.
We do the communications and liaison with the community. And we're that poor bastard that's got to sit there in the meeting and remind that group of assholes about the bylaws. And that they actually do exist, and sort of set the agenda and run the meeting, help the P out as he runs the meeting and keep things pertinent. And that kind of makes you a little bit of a pariah sometimes.
Yeah, it does. It does. I remember the coalition up in Rochester had their own, officer corps, and the secretary was the one that never seemed to get filled. I don't know what it was. Each club, it was, this club's turn to fill that position. You had a hard time getting anybody to want to do it. It's like it's
yeah,
there's not a lot of glamour involved in it either.
If I was in Wisconsin year round, I would probably be the secretary of our coalition. But I lucked out because I come down here for 6 months out of the year. So
there you go.
So yeah, thank God, But getting back, with the club world itself, I don't mind the exclusivity of it. I don't mind that so much. I like the fact that we keep things private still.
Yeah, supposed to.
But I can really kind of see, given the whole situation with the aging out of members, and the fact that a lot of the people don't want to put the time in to earn the patch, right? They want the quick, and I can see why groups like the WCFR are getting big.
Yeah, they are, and there's really no responsibility, and because I've seen a lot of people they'll like type in there, hey, how do I join? And they'll say you're already in.
Yeah, you're part of the Facebook page,
Yeah, that's it. You're already on it. You're already in. And there, like I said, other than the guys like Lee running things, there's some responsibility, but they're monetary responsibilities. They're, help me out here. I mean, logistically responsibilities. There's no real responsibilities to the club environment at all.
Yeah, but their bike nights are a big event.
Oh yeah, that's I mean, like Lee and Kurt and all them. I don't know how I tell Lee all the time. I'll joke around with him because if he'll do something I might not disagree with, I'll say I'm going to suggest next time you get your salary cut in half, and he'll always write back, with a laugh. I guess half a zero is still zero. I give them a lot of credit for the time and energy that they put in.
They really do. I mean, they've got booths set up. I mean, they got their own lawyer firm, for crying out loud.
Yeah, yeah, and they got their own sponsors, and it's amazing.
Sponsors and live bands, and it's an event, and they do this, during season every week.
Yeah,
almost.
And a lot of copycats out there too. You can always tell when you're doing something right because there's people who are trying to copy you and make fun of you at the same time.
Well, they're kind of easy to make fun of because they've got some real characters like yourself who are part of the group. I guess I'm part of the group too because I'm on the page, I guess, and I've been to some of them. But what's you're saying there? Ain't no party like a WCFR, like a West Coast party.
Ain't no party like ain't no party. Some of those guys got those initials tattooed on their arms.
Well, and goddamn, right here in traffic, you see their stickers everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they got something going on with if you see a sticker on somebody's car, they owe you a beer. Or
well, if you take a picture of it. Yeah. My just yesterday, my wife was in traffic. She drives for FedEx, And she saw somebody was in front. And I said, you should have taken a picture. I said, then
That's right.
I could have posted it on there. We could have got a free drink, you know?
Yeah. But as far as I mean, some guys, like you said, they're tattooing it on their arms, which they had a contest one night, a raffle ticket for somebody, whoever won was going to get a free WCFR tattoo, and somebody put my name in there. I said, nothing personal, but I'm not tattooing that on my arm. You know, just not.
No, I've got my club shit tattooed, and
I'm not going to put that on an equal playing field. It sounds ridiculous, but
I got a family tattoo. My boys and I designed it.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, that's about it. Yeah, why I wouldn't put, you know, why do that, you know?
Yeah, and I got pretty low standards in some of the tattoos that I have, but
well, that's what I like about you. You've got low standards. You self-deprecate. You're a self-proclaimed fuck up.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I know my limitations. I know my. Yeah, I think I just posted something here recently about people who don't belong in my circle, and I said, yes, that does mean I'm better than you, but I also have very low standards, and that means you got a lot of work to do on your own life.
Screw them anyway, man.
Yeah.
Screw them. You know, I mean, everybody's journey is different, and you've been on a pretty cool one. You've been living kind of a blessed life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a mixed blessing, but this is just what I was born to do. I think I really was. This motorcycles were in our families. My mother even had one. You know, talking 1972, and your mom's out riding a motorcycle. That was real different back then.
Well, you know, I tried to be normal at one point in time. I really did. You know, I mean, I had the full-time job, you know, management, the whole deal. You know,
Yeah.
Playing golf with my friends. You know, I tried the whole polo shirt and khaki.
Oh God.
Thing, and it didn't look right on me. You know, when you got a big Fu Manchu, you know, it just,
yeah.
And you know, you try to be what you think people want you to be, or your family, or your wife, or you know, and whatnot. And you know, eventually I just said fuck it, and eventually I got stuck being me.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
same on this end. I know what you mean. I can proudly say I don't know how to tie a necktie. I mean, I can count how many times I've worn a necktie on one hand for whatever reason.
Well, let's see here. You know, I have a suit. I wear it for weddings, funerals, and court.
Court was the only time I ever wanted to look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weddings, funeral, and court, you know. I always like going in this. Well, when I was young, when I still drank, I'd put that suit coat on, and there'd be like a $20 bill or something down in a pocket, you know, like oh no, goddamn, I must have been drunk. Look at that. Hell, cool, you know. All right.
A Sam Adams beer cap. Pulled off with your teeth.
Sam Adams beer. Damn. A friend of mine from high school is actually their like vice president of marketing for Sam Adams.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah,
he's doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, well, I remember we had our my high school was very industrious. We raised a lot of money during the time we were in high school. So we literally had our first 3 high school reunions paid off. And so we did a 5-year reunion. And it was all paid for. And we had food and all this beer and shit we didn't have to pay for. It was kind of nice. And he shows up, and it was this fledgling company that had just started in the Boston area, this craft brewery. Who knew what a craft brewer was at that point in time? And it was Sam Adams beer. And he literally bought in like, I don't know, 30, 40 cases of free Sam Adams beer for us. And this was back in 1985. I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
You know, it was like I said, a 5-year reunion. We were out at Edwards Air Force Base. It was at an Air Force Base.
Oh yeah.
PX, you know, that we had rented out and shit. So yeah, Sam Adams beer.
Yeah, I still miss it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kai. We appreciate that. That was the guy who was yeah. But shit, man. Well, we've been prattling on here for a little bit. A hot minute. You want to do any shameless last plugs on your books and tell us where to find them? And
I just happen to have them next to me here.
I wonder why.
We'll start with not that one. That's the one I'm reading. We'll start with the one that you read, which is Demons Rising, the story of the Wayward Scout.
Yep.
Still near and dear to me because it was my very first one.
Sure.
But this is actually my favorite. I look forward to you reading it. This is Rebellious Youth, the story of the lost child. This one really kind of went weird and dark on me in the middle. Took me to places in my brain that I still haven't recovered from. This is my favorite.
I spent
Most people that tell me.
I spent a lot of time in that bar in the picture right there.
That's the Ride Hard Saloon right there
Yes,
in Bradenton,
sir.
Florida.
Yes, sir.
And this was actually in coordination with the former owner there, Jesse James used to call himself, but Jesse Mullen, who's now passed away. And sadly, I have him in this book toward the end as a character. He played himself. And this still bothers me because he said, "Can I read it? I want to read it. I want to read it." I said, "No, not until it's published. And you can hold the book in your hand and you can read about," because in the scene, he looks like a badass. And then he passed away. He never got to even read it.
That's too
I know,
bad.
that really disappointed. I was just disappointed in myself. I should have just let him read it. And this is the third one. This is Black River, the story of the broken comedian. This is Lee Haygood on the cover.
There he is. Yep.
Not quite the cover that I was looking for on this, but this is kind of what we ended up with. Not Lee personally. Lee was a perfect cover model. Lee actually wanted to be on the cover of the second book. And I said, nah, I'm looking for kind of a hillbilly guy because the main character takes place
He's from Arkansas, for crying out loud. He's a hillbilly.
He looks like, yeah, I know he does. But I said, I need somebody with long hair and a scraggly beard that looks like they just came from the mountains.
That would be me.
Yeah, exactly. You would have been perfect at the time. And of course, the last one, which is Righteous Ravens, story of, oh my God, what the hell? Oh, the Roaming Gypsy. This is loosely based on two women. One is
one I know.
Charlie. You know Charlie?
I do, yeah.
Charlie was really kind of the inspiration for the character's gypsy side because I don't know, a lot of people don't know her. She is the real deal. She's very authentic, and she just, one day you'll see her at the Ride Hard Saloon, and then a week later you'll be going, I haven't seen Charlie here lately.
Yeah,
where the
she's
hell
in
is she?
Seattle, you know.
Oh, yeah, she's in Oregon. Yeah,
Yeah.
she just when did she do that? Oh, she woke up Sunday morning, wanted to go for a ride, and just.
Yeah, she was actually we interviewed her on the show.
Oh, you did?
I
Yeah,
did at the Ride Hard Saloon.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite people. She really is, and she's got that little Sportster, which she'll never give up. The main character in that book, which is named Dancer, has a Sportster, and she named it Ruby, just like Charlie did. Yeah, that's but I'm mad that I didn't give you the other. Remind me to get you the other three.
Yeah,
I didn't
no
realize
problem.
you didn't have them. I'd be interested to hear your take on them.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do another dealio. I'd like to get you on here with Dirty so he can
Would love to. Absolutely.
he's got a way with words and a way about him.
I've met a few guys with that handle over the years. That's a common one. They usually earn it too.
Yeah, no shit. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up for right now.
Sounds good.
I just wanted, we got a guy that he's one of our YouTube fans, and every time he writes, it's all capitals, so he always shouts.
Oh gosh.
So I just want, his name's Frank Samatero, and Frank, we're doing this for you right now. So thanks for being one of our listeners. So go ahead and say it, Frank, for me.
Thank you, Frank.
Perfect. He'll dig that a lot.
I just woke my dog up, didn't it? Sorry about that.
Yeah, mine's looking at me too. That's for sure. Well, Dutch, it's a pleasure having you on today, man. We'll chat
Thank
here
you.
after we shut the machine off here. And like I said, I'm down here now until end of April, so I know we'll be seeing each other.
Sounds good, my friend. I appreciate it.
So thanks a lot for coming on. Thanks a lot for anybody, the 3 or 4 listeners that are still with us at this point in time. And
Hang in there.
Yeah, hang in there. Yeah. And keep in mind, everybody, the most dangerous part in your motorcycle is the nut that connects the seat to the handlebars. Peace.
I wrote an article about that for New York Rider magazine. That's funny to say that.
I get the last word on the show, goddammit. Peace.